this is not me and Chuck's. This is Des and Ivis's projected 11 for us.
Mhm.
So we got Matt Freese in goal, still sticking with the back three. You got Cameron Carter-Vickers on the left, Richards in the middle, McKenzie on the right. I could see that being flip-flopped. Jedi Robinson getting the start. We're hopeful about that. Weston McKennie and Tessman sitting in the sixes. Tim Weah as the right wing back. And then you have Pulisic and Tillman as the tens, the inverted wingers, and Haji Wright up top. I don't know how everybody's feeling about that at home. If you're hearing it, if you're watching right now live on the YouTubes, who do you think is going to start? We'll probably throw up some polls. I definitely want to see McKenzie get a run out. So I'm happy with that. I don't know.
But he does start in that left center back role, and Cameron Carter-Vickers is right-footed. He will probably play on the right, so that will be flip-flopped. And that's if that was the back three. Remember, Chris Richards doesn't like to play the center of a back three, but I think that's where he's going to play. Otherwise, Cameron, I think that's where Pochettino has him set. That Chris Richards is going to be your first center back on the team sheet. So he's going to be right in the heart of that back line, back three. So yeah, I'm cool with this.
Yeah, okay, so I agree with you. McKenzie on one side. You could, because I feel like we've seen it before, but correct me if I'm wrong, where you had Cameron Carter-Vickers in the middle and could put Chris Richards on the right. However,
right. But if you're not going to move him, if you're not going to move Richards, even though he would probably prefer there, and Cameron Carter-Vickers would probably prefer to be in the middle, if Pochettino has him in the middle, there's no reason to play him in the left center back role or the right center back role if that's his spot. And then you're trying to figure out, okay, if Tim Ream is going to be my starter, or maybe I want to see if anyone else can push him. Mark McKenzie is the only player in my mind in that left center back role who plays it every week at Toulouse in Liga. That would be really the challenger for that position. And then the other side, you got Noah Kai Banks, who's now playing, and I think we're going to see him again in the future at a camp. You got Cameron Carter-Vickers. They've tried now Alex Freeman as a right center back. You got Joe Scally as a right center back. You have a number of players who are still in that testing mode in that right center back position.
Yeah, I mean, they tried Alex Freeman there. Would they try him again from the start? Were you going to give Miles Robinson another look there at the start and put McKenzie on the other side? Very curious about the center back position. I do think this is another opportunity for McKenzie in particular in audition mode. If you bring in CCV in, I feel like if you really want to see him, you got to give him some minutes. So I don't know if you give him from the start, give him at halftime, whatever. But I assume we'll see him at some point. I do like the Weston McKennie, Tanner Tessman midfields.
Yep.
I want to see what Weston's game looks like from that position. And just allowing Tessman to sit, even though Tessman, I thought, did a nice job of joining the attack and getting involved in higher situations, right? He had the hockey assist to Balogun's goal against Ecuador. So recognizing when to go, when to step. And Weston could obviously sit in, but I'm curious if you like that as well. Or do you feel like Aiden Morris and Tessman should get another run out?
Yeah, this would be my pitch to Weston. If I'm Pochettino, and I don't even know if you need to give a pitch, and I actually certainly think that Pochettino, whatever he says goes, but to make him understand, someone who wants to be more adventurous in the attacking third. Weston is someone who's very tough to track from a defensive standpoint because he's constantly moving and he makes well-timed runs. But he's not a creative player in the sense that he's going to get on the ball, dribble somebody, and then make a killer pass, make a key pass that's going to break a line. What he can do well is, we've seen him get in a pocket, get a ball, and play a great diagonal, a long diagonal, or a switch, making late runs out of midfield to get at the top of the box for a cross. I think the piece that really I struggle with leaving him off the pitch for is the set pieces, attacking set pieces. He's so good in the air, aerial challenges, both defensively and the attacking phase. But you need guys who can break down teams in those set piece areas, because that's an advantage. It's a third of the game can be decided on set pieces.
Right.
You need to have someone who's dominant in that respect, and I think he's that guy. When you're looking at the starting lineup, you're looking at the 11, he's better in the air than anybody else on attacking set pieces. Not even close for my money. So I'd like to see him in that position. And you say, okay, defensively, we know you can get back. We know you can track. I need you to be patient. And that's it. And then you can get forward and Tessman can sit. And Tessman, I think he's done a fantastic job of reading the game well, which is why he's able to play at Lyon. That's why he's been able to excel with the national team, because he doesn't have the pace. He can't cover all the ground that Tyler Adams can or Weston can. But where he's really improved is his understanding of the game, picking up second balls, being available, just sniffing out certain problem areas and danger areas to put those fires out before they start. So that's where I got to give a lot of credit to Tanner Tessman.
Yeah, and I'm curious if Weston makes more sense, because we know we're going to be playing against a team that doesn't care if they have the ball. So having those late runs, having him join the attack late. If we had Aiden Morris and Tanner Tessman in at the same time, for me, they're duplicating the position a little bit, right? They're staying where we could maybe get another player in advance of the ball, or at least asking questions. I do want to say, though, I think that Weston McKennie is one of our most clutch players. He scored a lot of clutch goals over the years, and having that knack and a feel for that, I think, is really important. So something to keep in mind, and I'm curious to see how it lines up. So let's get into the number 9 spot, because I know there's some discourse to be had there. Would you give Haji Wright, resident number 9 Charlie Davies, the start here, and to say, hey, listen, this is kind of like Josh Sargent in the last one. This is your big chance to show us that you've got these little qualities and details that we're looking for that might put you higher up the pecking order. Ultimately, though, Balogun is the clear number 9. Or do you give Balogun, 60 minutes to continue to run around and demonstrate his quality, when we all know that when he's fit and sharp, he is the guy?
Yeah. And Urias Tosh, I got to give it to you. I meant to say prevent fires before they start, not put them out before they start. So yeah, thank you. Thank you for correcting me. But what I will say is, no, I'm starting Balogun. Haji Wright, Ajiman, those are players that come off the bench. They're not starting over Balogun, and they're not starting over Ricardo Pepi. You need to see which striker gives you that advantage when they come off the bench. How do they complement maybe a Balogun if you have to play with 2? Balogun needs to understand that you're going to play teams like Ecuador, who you may concede possession. In this game, they gave us possession. They said, you're not going to break us down. And they were missing Moises Caicedo. But ultimately, you need to understand there are some teams that are going to drop back and really sit back and defend and play on the counter, and some are going to be a little bit more adventurous and pin you back and keep possession. You want Balogun to be able to deal with both scenarios and both tactics. So I'm keeping him on the pitch. I want more continuity. The more the relationships build with Tillman, with Christian, with
yes.
Tessman, with
Okay,
McKennie.
you got me. Yeah.
Like I want that group to play as much as they possibly can before next summer.
Yeah, great shout. You got me.
So I'm starting Balogun. I want to start. Remember, we don't have that too many windows. This isn't the first year of a 4-year window.
I get it.
So
I know.
Play your guys and then think about,
yeah,
okay, we saw enough for this game. I'll give them 30 minutes off.
Initially I was leaning towards Haji starting, because he's red hot in the championship. He leads everyone in goals. Coventry's been very good. Getting on the end of stuff, scoring different types of goals too. I'm like, oh, you know what? Maybe we give him the start here. We know what Balogun's about. He's super sharp. But you've convinced me. The more minutes we can get with a Tillman, Pulisic, Balogun triangle, and understanding if Jedi can start, I would love Jedi to start. Can we have that so we can get that dynamic happening? Like, okay, now that we've decided to push Christian a little bit more central, it's going to open up and free more space for Jedi to get up and down. Well, okay, they need reps figuring that out. And against an opponent that's going to sit back a little bit, yeah, let's see how that cooks. Let's put on our chef hat and see what kind of ingredients we can mix together here.
And I also want to add, similar to a World Cup, right? You're seeing matches 3 days from one another. So that excuse of we need to rest or heavy legs. No, you gotta see how guys play in that second game. You might have
great shout.
A really difficult game in the group stage. Maybe it's a team like Ecuador, or you're playing a team that's like a Uzbekistan or an Iran in that first game, and you're playing the harder team the second game. So either way, you got to push those guys and see, okay, you got to bring the energy levels back up And I need to see you guys continue to push forward and create a little bit more. But the intensity, like Pochettino talks about, the culture remains the same. We have to be hungry. We have to play in that with that kind of mentality moving forward.
Yeah, well said. All right, the U.S. men's national team will face Australia tomorrow, Tuesday, October 14th at Dick's Sporting Goods Park in Commerce City, Colorado.